It says we're live. Let's see if it's true. We're live, brother. All right.
Let's go.
What's up, Northern Kentucky? Aaron Smith here from Deep Work Studios, and I've got a good friend of mine, Jake Diana. Jake is with Fischer Homes, and I'm going to stop right there and let him introduce himself. Jake,
How's it going?
happy Thursday, brother.
Hey, happy Thursday. It's my Sunday, actually.
Yeah, because you have to work weekends, much like I do.
I do.
You get to work weekends. It's actually
I get to.
nice that
I love working weekends.
That's awesome. Yeah,
People think I'm crazy for it, but
so today's your Sunday. Tomorrow you got to go into work.
it is. Yeah.
Okay.
It's I love the schedule.
Yeah, I love it when I'm checking out at a grocery store and it's Friday, and the person behind the register is like, "Man, I'm so glad it's Friday," and I'm like, "What's that mean?" And they're like, "I don't have to work tomorrow." I'm like, "That must be really nice."
Yeah. It's weekends are my busiest times, and that's when I like to have the most busy schedule.
And that's when you get in our world, we get to interact with people, and that's how we feed our families and stuff like that. So it's like, hey, weekends are great.
Yeah,
it's great, especially for salespeople who, that's how we make our money, and that's how we survive is, that sort of thing. So for those who don't know you, and I've done a terrible job of your introduction so far, but for those who know you, let's hear it. Fischer Homes, we know that.
Yep.
What else do we need to know about Jake Diana?
So a little bit about me. I am a graduate of the University of Kentucky. Go Cats.
Okay, that's right.
I grew up on the east side of Cincinnati my whole life, right around the Eastgate area. Graduate of Glen Estee High School, and then made my way down the UK. Studied marketing and management. I've always had an interest in real estate. It wasn't really until my senior year I started to get a better feel for it, and that's when I found Fischer Homes, and I loved the opportunity that they had for me. And I accepted a position as a sales counselor. And in that sales counselor role, my duties are, leading clients from start to finish through the whole entire home building process.
Yes.
It's so fun. Absolutely love it. Wouldn't trade it for the world.
So did you play with Legos or anything when you were a kid? Like new construction kind of just come to you like that? Or how did you go from, I'm in college, I want to go, work in new construction?
I've just always had that. I've always been that people person. I love talking with people. People have told me you could talk to a brick wall. I'm like, yeah, I probably could.
Sometimes I feel like I am.
Sometimes. But that's just me. I'm just very outgoing. I like to, make people happy. I like to see just the progress of things. And especially in the new construction industry, when we build this home on paper and see this creation come to life, that's what gets me going, gets me every day. That's my go-go juice.
I love that you love it, because it stresses me out thinking about, all like that. That is a huge project, right?
It is.
I mean, at least you've got a good team that are detailed and project manage the whole thing.
Yeah. And that's what I love most about Fischer Homes is just a team effort. I'm constantly in communication with construction field managers, my managers, really just kind of, have that good experience for the customers. And that's what I love most. It's a team effort.
So let's do this, because you and I got to interact a little bit this year on some new construction stuff, and I was thoroughly impressed with how you manage expectations. So hats off to you, because I feel like it's such a stressful process that you have to be good at managing expectations and timelines and not over promising things and stuff like that. So let's just recap for anybody who's curious out there. Let's just recap what happened this year with new construction.
New construction this year was kind of crazy. There was a lot of things that, unexpected changes that happened in the industry with supply chain, some labor issues still lingering from COVID. So setting expectations, we had to kind of, set a longer time frame for some of our builds because of the unexpected changes that we saw. But overall, it was still booming. Just kind of like, the resale industry, a lot of houses were being sold. People are moving into the greater Cincinnati area. So the demand for houses was significant. Yeah.
I mean, supply is so low right now. And I feel like buyers go down the path of, oh my gosh, we're excited. We want to buy a house. Let's go get pre-approved. And then it's like shop, get beat out on multiple offers. And it's like, man, well, now what do we do? Like we're getting beat out left and right. And like, well, what about this new construction community over here? We kind of like what we see over here in Union or Alexandria or Burlington or what have you. And then they end up in your model home, right?
Yeah,
And then they're excited because everything's new and it's clean. And Fisher does a really good job with their architectural features in their homes.
absolutely.
And then they get excited, and then you get to introduce them to building a new home
Yeah.
and what that means for them. So, so lumber shortage was a big deal.
Lumber shortages,
Is
just
that still going on?
a little bit. I think if anything, we're seeing like trusses being delayed.
It's because they have to manufacture those somewhere else. Like with like framing, they get a bunch of sticks on site and they're like nailing it all in. With the trusses, they build them off site
Right.
and truck them on site. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now what? Labor shortage?
It's labor, just longer lead times for everything. For example, our windows right now are about 14 to 16 weeks. So we're having to order all this stuff, as soon as somebody signs a contract. And that's been kind of, people, buyers think they can, change things throughout the process, change colors of things. But with our lead times, we have to order everything right up front.
And then somebody makes a change and it just jumbles up the whole process
Right. Or it gets missed. So we've had to adjust ourselves as a builder, during this kind of year. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure you kind of remember this, but March was that crazy period where things were selling left and right. I think in Northern Kentucky alone, we set a goal of 80 something houses sold in new construction just for the month of March.
That's for next year, or that was
this year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing, and I won't get too far into the weeds here, but listening to economists, I listened to Lawrence Yun, which is the National Association of Realtors chief economist. He talked about how when the economy hit the tank back in 2008, new construction came to a halt.
Correct.
So one of the reasons why we're having supply issues right now on homes is that there's not enough homes out there, because there was a period of 5 years where new construction went from, I don't know, 1 million homes a year down to 100,000 or 200,000 homes a year. So people kept having babies. There's population is increasing, stuff like that. We're going to be short on houses. So we're trying to catch up right now. I don't see the supply demand issue changing until something else tips it.
Correct.
Interest rates or some, global event kind of thing. So.
Yeah. And that's one of the nice things right now is, as a lot of people have seen, prices have gone up over the course of the last year. But it's being, record lows, it's still a great time to get in.
It's pretty enticing to buy when you can get, new construction. You can still get interest rates in the 3% range.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that range. So, so let's talk about some of the common things that you encounter with new construction. People walk into your model home, common questions you get, like, I'm in real estate. I'm a realtor.
Yep.
I have a lot of buyers that they're out on a weekend. They stumble into an open house or a model home, and they get to talk to you. If somebody's working with an agent, can they work with a new builder, and how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. Any buyer can use a realtor when they purchase new construction. In fact, I love it when someone, brings me a new realtor, that they're working with. Really, it's two sets of voices. From the new construction side of things, but also, someone who's also doing real estate every day. That's two voices that this customer has, giving them feedback and just, supporting them through the building process, recommending, hey, if it's a customer who's a little bit restricted on budget, what are the best things as far as resale value goes to add to this home? Hey, cabinets, countertops, that's something that can be changed later, but maybe the structural feature of a home, let's do that instead.
Yeah. Instead of focusing on the bells and whistles, hey, let's get you some more square footage, some later, or we can get some cabinet later. That's easy to change. You can't change the footprint of a house once it's built very easily.
That's what I tell everybody every day.
Yeah. So in having been involved as a realtor on new builds, I've been able to bring up some points that people need to think about, especially if you're buying a market home that's already, they've already started the construction, everything. It's a little different, but I love it when somebody comes to me and is like, hey, should we do A or B? And I'm like, all right, let's talk about this because, there's, you talk about resale and the four things that make up the price of a home and its location, size, amenities, and condition. And it's like, okay, well, let's talk about the lot that you're about to pick,
Yep.
right? Because if there's a lot and there's some undulation or something going on, one's a walkout and one's not, it's like, yeah, I get to now educate them on how they can get a bigger return on their investment whenever they go to sell it. So
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, that was one of them.
And we
Benefits to use an agent, or is there any downside to using an agent?
I mean, and one thing that's a common misconception is, when a buyer walks in with an agent, they think that they have to pay that agent directly on top of the purchase price. And it's actually Fisher Homes pays the realtor directly the 3%
Good point.
commission fee. So it comes at no cost to the buyers. It's, more a benefit than anything to have
Yeah,
an
and
agent.
that way Fisher Homes gets to settle in and do what Fisher Homes does really well, and that's build homes.
That's it.
And the agent gets to help counsel the client a little bit on some decisions that they make, go over through the process. We talk about contracts, good faith deposits, closing dates,
Absolutely.
title, lending, all that stuff. So, speaking of which, I just dropped some things out there. So, we bring a buyer to you, you sit down, you go over, oh, what are my options? What are my price points? And then, then they go under contract, right? So then
Correct.
they go under contract. You usually ask for a good faith deposit. In our side, we call it earnest money. What's that for?
So a good faith deposit is money that a buyer pays up front, really because as a builder, Fisher Homes, we take on all responsibility for building this house. And for someone who's doing a new contract or a new build is what we call it. We're allowing you to put your selections into this home. So, say for some reason financing cancels, you cancel the contract throughout, that good faith deposit is, protecting us as a builder because we are going to have to list that home with your selections. It may not be, what is the most popular selections. So, we want to know that you're committed to this building process with us. So that's what that good faith money goes towards. Now, that good faith deposit goes towards closing, it goes towards your down payment.
Yeah, you get it back.
Correct.
It's basically if you get cold feet and you walk away from this thing and we just built this house around everything that you wanted, we're going to have to eat that
Yeah.
and sell it to somebody else. And they may not like your cabinets. They may not like your floors. They may not like that ceiling fan that you picked out. What's the wildest selections you've ever seen? Give me something.
Oh gosh.
It doesn't have to be
I
like crazy, but
even just I walked into a customer's home the other day and they chose no windows in their basement.
That's scary, actually.
It was like a dungeon, and I was like, "Did we miss them?" But no, they chose no windows.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Did they give you a reason?
No, they weren't my customer. I was just kind of showing the house, but, yeah, it was dark.
Yeah, because usually you have something in the back of the house or on the side of the house with it like lets a little bit of light in.
Yeah. It was
Total panic room, huh?
yeah, I personally wasn't a fan, but
Huh?
that's someone else's house.
That's their house.
Yeah.
You can cut concrete.
Comes at a cost, but
Yeah, you can put a hole in that foundation there. All right. So you told us why you do good faith deposit and that sort of thing. Um, here's here's a question that I'm getting from a lot of people right now, and it's funny. I think it's funny that we get this question is because it's like, "Hey man, how's real estate?" I'm like, "Man, the market's rocking right now. Like,
Yeah.
I can't complain. We're having a really good market." And they're like, "When's it going to crash?" I get that all the time. So do you
All
get
the
that a
time,
lot?
all the time.
So what do you like? What are you seeing? I mean, I know Fisher Homes is a more than just Northern Kentucky. They've got to be talking to people on what the market's doing. What are you hearing from Fisher?
It's as far as new construction goes, it differs a little bit from the resale homes. Typically in any new construction community, houses are going to appreciate greater over time versus a 20-year-old home. Um, but with new sections and new phases coming to these communities, prices are generally going to rise. So, when a new community opens, we price them where they're at, but we also price those to gain traction for this community. So as the community starts to build more and more, prices, because the interest is so high, prices generally go up.
Yeah.
Um, that is what we are seeing. And especially, with the shortages that did play a part this past year of prices rising, labor shortages. So we have to pay our trade partners a little bit more. A lot goes into the basis of these homes. Generally, you're going to see these rise compared to a resale home.
Right. And correct me if I'm wrong, because you're at the epicenter of this. I'm just kind of part of the industry seeing the new construction stuff. I usually tell people when, as far as resale, right?
Yep.
So if, let's just say, how long does it take to build a community out if there's, I don't know, what, 500 homes?
Oh gosh, years.
8 years, 10 years,
Yeah.
somewhere in there. So what I've told people is, okay, you buy a house and you're in the first 100 homes,
Yep.
right? And you buy in the first 50 to 100 homes. All right, you own that house. What happens if you need to sell it? I usually tell people, okay, you need to sell that house. And I used to say this before COVID hit, before supply got low and demand stayed.
Right.
I used to say this, so it may be a little dated, but I would say, okay, you buy a house and then the builder's still going to be building brand new homes just like yours that are newer with newer countertops, newer toilets, newer everything, right? Because it's brand new, nobody's ever used it. So if somebody comes in your community that can wait, they'll avoid buying your house, which is the exact same thing, and they'll pay as much or more for a house just like yours, but newer.
Correct.
When the builder stops building, let's just say that they get to, I don't know, they're in their final stages and the only lots left are the ones that are like, it's not the best lot in the community. So it's going to take a special buyer. And the phase is almost complete. Once the doors close, the bulldozers are gone, the dumpsters are gone, the porta potties are gone, and now the community gets to be residential resale, right?
Mm-hmm.
At that point, you're no longer competing against the builder in your neighborhood. So somebody wants to live in that neighborhood now has to buy from somebody who bought from the builder and is resale. And then that's where you're no longer competing with the builder and you can now start to have an advantage.
Right.
Okay. Anything I said there wrong or terribly out
that
of
was
line?
that was a great explanation of a new construction community.
Well, that's gratifying. Good.
And we've seen cases, for example, in the community that I'm based out of, customer bought a brand new house. Back in January, closed on the house and had a sudden job change and had to relocate. They sold the house higher than what they bought it at and closed 2 to 3 months prior. Because that's just the way prices go. Prices
Yeah.
are higher.
Well, and right now they're rising at a speed that we've never seen before.
It's crazy.
And it's like we're going like the roller coaster thing. It's like we don't know where the top of the roller coaster is. We're just kind of going up this thing, and it's like, it's not so bad when like things are just kind of going and it's fine. You don't feel like anything I don't know, ominous.
Right.
But like we're going up. Like our price points are going up like this year because people were paying so high. They're waiving appraisals and stuff like that. So like I think that's why we're getting the questions. Like, when's it going to fall? Because it's like, it can't keep going up like this.
Yeah. Another thing I've been telling people is you got to kind of look at the greater Cincinnati market, not just the national market. Where is this greater Cincinnati market going? And I'm based out of Northern Kentucky. Look at all of these jobs that are being created in Northern Kentucky.
Okay.
Especially Boone County,
Amazon's big, yeah.
Bringing thousands of jobs here. A lot of businesses are relocating to this area. And I would say maybe 40% of my buyers have been out-of-town buyers relocating to this area for jobs.
40% of the buyers who are purchasing new construction right now,
for me at least,
from on your new construction side,
have been.
That's big.
It's a lot.
Because, I mean, they're moving in. They don't know these neighborhoods. They don't know the locations. And like for them relocating into the area, it's just the easiest thing to do. It's like, we get the house we want. We don't need to shop around a lot. It's like, we know what we're getting, brand new house.
Right.
I love it. All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk incentives really quick. When I'm in a builder's model home and we're sitting down, we're talking incentives. What does that even mean? And how does that play into the new construction process?
Yeah. So us at Fischer Homes, we have, it really varies per month. So we'll have our monthly incentives, and lately it's been community by community incentives. So as a reward for spending, X amount of money in upgrades on our home, we'll give you a discount on some of those upgrades. However, that incentive money can be used, in multiple different ways. It can be used off the purchase price of the house. Or in my favorite case lately, we have a partner lender called Victory Mortgage.
Mm.
And should a buyer choose to go with Victory Mortgage, we can put some of that incentive money to close.
Got it. So since you're in a joint venture with the lender, you
Our
can
partner lender.
use your partner lender. You can use some of the funds for what? I mean, what do people
Closing
use?
costs. My favorite one lately is if, again, there's certain requirements with credit score, all that kind of stuff. But if they don't have 20% down on a conventional loan, buying out their PMI.
Okay.
So I had a
So they
case
put down 10%, and then they can use the incentive to buy out their PMI and makes their payment lower.
Yeah, and then still potentially have extra money to take off the purchase price of the house.
Got it. Okay.
That's been, I think that's been one of my favorites lately. We're just getting creative with how we can lower that monthly payment.
Well, and honestly, like when you can get a 3% mortgage right now, why would you put down 20%? You can take that cash and invest it in something else that's making you more than the 3% that you're paying in interest on it. So, like,
Right.
yeah. So we talked about incentives, right? So what about tangible incentives? Like, is there ever any upgrades for like flooring? Are they doing that anymore with supplies being so expensive?
We had what we call fall savings, and in the month of October, we're no longer doing this, but month of October, we were doing free upgraded hardwood
Cool.
in our Maple Street Designer and Masterpiece collections. And typically, someone do a flooring upgrade, that's one of the bigger upgrades within the home buying process. So sometimes it's $14,000 to $15,000 just for flooring upgrades to get the one they wanted, where we were including it.
Oh, wow.
In October.
Yeah. And I mean, I always tell people the floors are the only surface in a house that somebody can't avoid touching.
Right.
And they make a big freaking difference. And that's the first two things when I go to meet with a seller. It's like, what do we need to do to our house to get it ready? The first thing I look at is the floors. The next thing I look at is the paint on the walls.
Yep.
Because people got to see the paint on the walls and they got to touch the floors. And it's like, if your carpets are sticky, stained, ripped, if your floors are scratched up, it's like, those are the first two things I look at. Everything else, like your window blinds and all that stuff, like we can fix that later. We'll start with the floors and the walls. So we talked about incentives. What about negotiations? So a lot of people walk in, you have your home, like you see the sign at the front of the neighborhood, homes starting at in the 430s or the 250s or something like that. So tell me, in your words, negotiations on new construction.
Yeah. So we personally don't do any negotiations. However, we have our base price for the houses, correct? And we can choose the customer can choose what upgrades they want. They don't have to do flooring if they don't want. So that negotiation style is choosing what they want in the home to get the price that they want.
Got it.
It is 75. The home starts at 325. That gives us $50,000 to kind of choose what we want. We're not going to go to 390 and say, oh, we're going to negotiate this down to 375. You have to take off some options to get it to where that price point.
Got it. Well, and I would say, in a different world, let's go back, I don't know, 2015.
Yeah.
We weren't selling hotcakes back then.
No, we weren't.
I mean, it was, the market was starting to improve and stuff like that. But I mean, if a builder had a goal of 80 something houses in a month, it's like, you might have to make some concessions here and there. You might have to haggle a little bit over something, but I mean, it's 2021.
It's hard.
It's almost 2022. And everybody's saying that the market's going to be the same or similar as it was this year. So when it comes to new construction, the value and the benefit is you're buying at extremely low interest rates.
Yep.
You're getting to select everything that you want in your house. And if you go directly to the builder, usually if you're like, hey, I want that lot, I want this house on that lot, it's like you're not in a multiple offer situation where you're, instead of, the house is listed at 375 and you're paying 425, waiving your inspection and appraisals.
Right.
It's like, that's the value in going to a builder in today's world, is that you don't have to fight the next guy for it.
Right.
Typically.
And that's a great instance of, we're not being like, so we don't negotiate, but we release a new section in the community. There's such high interest for the section. We do what we call a grand release process. So, you sign up for an appointment time slot. If you're the first appointment, you get first choice of home site, first choice of home, where you don't have to pay extra money, just to get the one you want. It's, it goes down a list. that's kind of a benefit, that we don't see that negotiation style in the new construction.
Hmm. That's a good point. And so here's switching gears a little bit. So jumping off of negotiations, it's like, okay, I'm somebody moving in from out of town. I'm relocating for my
Yeah.
job, or let's just say, for example, we've got to get in by a certain time. What happens if we can't wait for the hole to be dug and the house to be built? And we're not really sure if there's going to be a delay due to supply chain stuff. Like, then what?
Yeah. So one of the things that a lot of people don't know as far as new construction is we have what we call market homes or spec homes. And these are homes that our interior designers, pick with the most popular selections. So they're always designed very nicely. Um, and those are what we call quicker move-in times, that allows someone who can't wait for a full build to get into the home sooner.
So by the time they hit you, you may already have concrete in the ground. There's a foundation already there, may even be framed or
Yeah.
drywalled by that point. And instead of them thinking, okay, this is going to be an 8-month process, it might be 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
We even have a few. It's been harder lately, but you have gotten to the now stage where they're finished with a full build, and
Oh, really?
we have. It's been very rare this last year, but we have a ton of market homes, ready to close within the first part of next year.
That's I would say that you're going to get some of that in the wintertime.
Yep,
Things being a little slower. It's like, hey guys, let's go ahead and build some of these. We know we can sell them in this
absolutely.
market, so let's go ahead and get them. And I never knew that. I always knew that building for a builder, building a market home might be a little risky, just because it's like, well, we got all this money invested into concrete, wood, labor, shingles, windows, all this stuff, and it's just sitting there.
Right.
But I never knew that you kind of took it through the selection process, take all the popular stuff and put it in there, and assign it more of like that sweet spot price point for that house.
Absolutely, and even the floor plan itself, we typically put our like a market home, we choose a lot to do it on. It's gonna be one of our most popular floor plans because
Okay.
we want it to sell. So that also is something that factors into how we pick a market home.
So let's talk about floor plans for a second. What would you say on you have different levels of construction, right? You
Correct.
mentioned Maple Street,
Maple Street, yep.
and then what are your other levels?
Designer, masterpiece, paired patio, condominium. We have
All right.
all different.
Yeah, so you got attached homes, you got detached homes, patio homes, all that stuff. I would just say, okay, so let's just go single family detached, right?
Yep.
So what are your top most popular floor plans right now?
Which collection?
You were gonna ask something crazy
Or
like that.
just in general?
I don't know. Like what are I don't know.
Okay. I'll give you so the most popular 2 right now in our Maple Street collection is the Yosemite floor plan,
Okay.
which is a 3-bedroom with a loft, could be a 4th bedroom. And my new favorite of this collection called the Jensen.
Okay.
The Jensen's very cool. It has 2 flex spaces within the home. You could do 2 offices if you want, or you could do a living room and an office, or a living room, dining room. It
Huh.
really offers this flexibility that we've seen take over during COVID with a lot of people working from home now that, hey, they might.
So in 15 and 20 years when I'm showing houses, let's hope I'm not, but let's just say in 15 or 20 years, I'm showing houses. I'll be like, oh guys, this is a Jensen. When COVID hit, like this
They
is like
chose 2 offices.
back in the day when people used, we had to move to working from home. They started building this house. So I see. All right. I want to walk through one of these Jensens.
Yeah.
I don't think I've walked through one yet.
We just rolled it out. I think it's a year old right now.
Huh.
Yeah, last fall we rolled it out,
The COVID baby of
and
new
people love
construction.
it.
Okay.
It's got a huge island, and it's 4 bedrooms standard with a massive loft upstairs.
Do you have one of those we could walk through soon?
I do.
All right. So for all of you guys watching, we're going to do a new construction home tour
We'll see the Jensen.
and meet George Jensen. So my friend Ferris said, dude, is this guy old enough to talk about houses?
I know. I'm young.
I'll tell you right now, age aside, Jake is one of the best new construction reps I've ever worked with. And the reason is because he does a great job setting expectation. He doesn't overpromise. He tells you what to expect. And even if you're not going to like what he says, like, oh, that option's more expensive than you had planned on or something like that. Even if he doesn't like it, he's going to tell you what you need to hear, because he's not just there to sell you and forget you. He knows that you're going to be living in the community that he's selling in. He's going to have to stand behind his product.
Yeah, I look, but I absolutely love it, and that's where I think my drive comes from.
Yeah.
And
I know Ferris was just kidding.
Oh yeah,
but I know you get that a lot too.
I do. People walk the door and be like, "You're the sales counselor." I'm like,
"Can I talk to the sales counselor?"
Yeah,
like, that's me.
I'm here. No, but I'm thankful for people who do put their trust in me, and because I think they found out that it's a great process.
Yeah.
Through and
Do you know
through.
who Paul Rudd is?
I've heard the name.
You should look him up.
You're
You're dead on Paul Rudd.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, new construction. I think we hit a lot on that spectrum. What else did you want to cover on new construction? Want people to know, or just real estate in general? Or I know you like to golf too. Anything you
Love
work on,
golf.
golf or
baseball, anything sports.
What do you think about the Braves?
I'm happy for them.
Yeah, I am too.
I mean, I really hope that someday it's the Reds. Fun fact: I've never seen the Reds win a playoff series in my lifetime.
Yeah, I guess that wouldn't have happened, would it?
No, I'm 23, so in 23 years I've been alive, never seen a playoff series win or a Bengals postseason win.
My God, Cincinnati sports. All right, back to real estate, man. That's depressing. Back to real estate. So new construction. What do you wish more people knew about new construction when they walk into your model home? What do you wish people knew more about?
I think just the building process in general. They think it's this stressful process. It's this long process. But as a sales counselor, and our goal at Fischer Homes is to try to make this an easy transition for you.
Yeah.
Find the best solution, not just with the house, but the best area of town based off what you're looking for. What's this like? If you want a community with amenities, finding that right community, that right home site. That's really what we try to do, is find that best fit. To me, I look at it as a big puzzle. How can we put all these puzzle pieces together to deliver this great product to our customers?
Well, and that's true too, because you got to think, as a new construction rep, you're in the same business as I am. You look for referrals and recommendations, and somebody builds in a community. You want them telling their friend at work, like, "Oh yeah, we love our new community. We love our new house. We enjoyed the process." You want all those things.
Absolutely.
And that's your reputation.
It is.
Right? So that matters. Anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. It's it's fun.
So what if I were any day of the week, if I were to call you and say, "Hey, what model home are you in right now?" Where would you be sitting?
So the model that I'm sitting in currently is our Avery model over in our Ballyshannon community.
Avery?
The
Avery model in Ballyshannon.
It's in Union, Kentucky. It's stunning. It's a unique 5-level plan. Have you seen 5-level?
No, I've seen the Blair, which is a 5-level.
So the Avery is the baby version of the Blair.
It's a tiny Blair. Or not tiny, but
it's a smaller version.
Okay.
It's cool. It's the most popular in our designer collection.
Okay. I'm going to have to, well, so you guys have my word. Within the next 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to get into some of these new construction homes and kind of do some walkthroughs, and we'll cut it up and post it so that everybody can kind of see what new construction floor plans are trending towards these days.
Yeah.
Get to see Jake live in action doing his thing. Cool. All right, man.
Awesome.
Well, great talking with you. And hopefully,
it.
If anybody is considering new construction, if you hear your coworker talking about new construction, or I want to build a house, or if you're tired of looking for houses right now and you want a sure shot, let's talk about building something brand new so that you can get what you want. If you got the time, and even if you don't have the time, he may already have something in the process that they're working on that might suit your needs. So
check it out.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Have an awesome Thanksgiving. We'll be seeing you soon.
Thanks, Aaron.
Peace.